Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Scump giving his perspective on the major drama at yesterday's Halo World Championship, saying it's absolutely unacceptable, especially in a World Championship Grand Final, exactly what happened to FormaL and OpTic, but plenty of other drama going down there as well. Certainly Dashy's perspective on FormaL's best trait as a player, and potentially the traits that he's going to try and apply to this upcoming year's OpTic Texas roster. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I really appreciate it. Not gonna lie though, this is kind of funny to start out today. First of all, shout out to the boys on the COD Mobile broadcast over the last few days. I think it was Elevate that walked away with the championship victory here, but Infinity, Ton, Proper here, and obviously I Hold Shift are holding it down for the boys. So good to see this across the various iterations of competitive Call of Duty esports. As I said the other day, in many respects, COD Mobile is a strange esport. You know, they play on mobile devices like resting on pillows, but nonetheless, the game is actually arguably far better than what the developers have produced over the last few years. Hopefully, not the case here with Black Ops 6. We saw the beta. It's definitely got some promise. Whether it works out to be a good competitive season, that's the question. It also depends quite largely on what's actually going to be happening this season. Where are the tournaments going to be? How many tournaments are there going to be? Are online qualifiers returning? I mean, I'm almost certain that they will be, but it is probably in some sense this year the CDL going to be a slight transition year, because it was only a few months ago they confirmed the franchise payments are no longer, and therefore things are changing in the league. What that means for the format, it's another debate, but as I've said before, it would be good if Black Ops 6, if it is a good game, actually gets a good competitive cycle to compensate for that. And, you know, we've hoped that every year for the last several years, the season gets better. The season either gets longer, or more events, or more money on the line, or whatever, more entertaining things for us to watch as Call of Duty fans, but it's not always been the case, and I think in many respects this year the CDL was kind of bailed out by the existence of the World Cup, because otherwise we'd have had, again, a very short season, to be honest. But Ultra, they are one of the first organisations I've ever seen to write out a contract signing gift. We usually see this, of course, from the players. I think we might have seen it from Beans the other day, but we know that Beans is going to this team. This maybe is the finalisation of a couple of deals. I do wonder exactly what's happening with Insight and CleanX, because they're staying around here, and Toronto, Adam Adamu made it quite clear that they simply could not afford all of those contracts. So will they have re-signed a deal with those guys for less money? Like, I don't know, but possibly. There's also rumours that those guys are on like a bench salary for the off-season, which is, you know, I think it's probably reasonable business, but it just feels a bit bad. I don't know how many other teams do that, where they have their players' salaries for the 12 months of the season, 12 months of the year, certainly not the 12 months of the season, right? But then Toronto will say, right, when you're not playing, we're going to drop your salary down, basically, which I don't know if other organisations do that too. I think Toronto have done it this past season based on rumours, so that's unfortunate maybe for Insight and CleanX, but it is what it is. Maybe there's some sort of contract renegotiation there. Beans, though, is coming in. The other man that I'm guessing this refers to is possibly JoeDeceives, right? Because JoeDeceives has not been announced going anywhere from Thieves yet. Technically, he's still part of Los Angeles Thieves. They confirmed Kremp has gone, and we're pretty sure we know where he's going to go. They confirmed Nastie is gone. We're pretty sure where he's going to go. So Kremp to Cloud9 and Nastie to Seattle, respectively. They have not yet confirmed that JoeDeceives is going anywhere, but he is, obviously, because they have their starting four, and JoeDeceives is a very promising player and did great things for that Thieves roster last season, right? He was on the Gorillas roster a couple of years ago when he made a name for himself and proved to be their better player, for sure, on the roster, and that was his rookie year, although it was an absolutely disastrous team. Joins the Thieves, has some ups and downs in the first part of the season, but certainly gets better, and towards the end of the year was, you know, one of their best players, if not their best player, at the end of the year, World Championship, World Cup, and has proved that, you know, he's definitely moving in the right direction as a talent. And honestly, many people thought, well, if you are going to make a change to that Thieves roster, it's probably going to be, you know, minus Kremp, minus Nastie, maybe, because there were other options out there in the flex role, other options instead of Nastie. They could have looked at Sib, right? Eventually, they got Scrappy, which is the best absolute option that they could have hoped for. And then Kremp, I think there were upgrades out there too. In some sense, you know, they got Envoy into that role, but then the reality is they were able to replace JoeDeceives with HyDra, which obviously is got to be a no-brainer, as good as Joe was. So we're pretty sure he's going to Toronto. That's as we currently understand. And of course, the COD League are in the reply saying, oh, wonder what this could be talking about. We think that's going to be the roster of 4. Whether they're going to have like a clear-cut sub or what the situation's going to be there, we just don't fully know as of yet. This is the Cloud9 situation. It's funny that they're tweeting about about this. So, you know, they've confirmed Sib is staying. We don't know the other 4 individuals yet. They did also kind of confirm here by saying coach question mark. Now, obviously every team has a coach, but not every team necessarily has the most notable of coaching staffs. So often you don't really think about the coach in relation to some of the teams. Whereas Cloud9 are making it quite clear they have Sib, they have 3 other players, and they have a coach, probably quite a notable coach. The rumor is, as it stands, that it's going to be Attach alongside Sib as the ARs, and it's going to be Kremp and Mack on the SMGs. It was going to be Kremp and Nero, we believe, before then they decided they didn't want Nero anymore, and they were going to get Mack into the team instead. That potentially was in part inspired by the fact that Mack and Sib had some success together, and if the rumours are true that Accuracy is going to coach this roster, then he was on that Seattle team a couple of years ago as well. So that's the rumour. I'm not sure how much I like it, to be honest, but there has been some speculation to that end. Obviously, Jake Hal's kind of saying, what are you talking about? Because we already know the team, which is basically what I just mentioned. But look, Black Ops 6 is coming out in the relatively near future, and yeah, we're pretty sure it's going to be something like this. But I just look at these numbers and you've got to get a little bit concerned just because the AR duo, there's not really any questions on that one, to be honest. The SMG duo, that's more so where question marks will be raised. And sure, these are like season cards, and Mack, of course, didn't even play the most recent season. Well, I think that is one of the big concerns, that we've not seen Mack play a year since last year when he was, you know, Modern Warfare 2 on Seattle Surge, and he did not have a great season, really, all things considered. So is there any guarantee that he's going to come back into the league and do a great job? I mean, clearly the pros rate him, but obviously it's still a bit of a risk, no doubt about it. But let's talk about some of this drama, right? So yesterday we saw that the OpTic Halo team went to the grand finals of the Halo World Championship and they fell short again to Space Station Gaming, and it was, you know, a difficult loss, of course, for those guys. FormaL was very gracious, to be fair, in defeat, saying we just didn't have what it takes this year. GG's to everyone we played. But no doubt about it, there were some controversial moments, certainly during the grand final. And, well, if you guys didn't see yesterday's video, we talked about this, when OpTic were up 3-0 in the first grand finals, trying to reset the bracket to take another best of 7 to potentially win the entire thing there. And, well, Eco lags out of the game on the Space Station Gaming side. They have to hit the replay, and at the time it was 26-21 in oddball in favour of OpTic Gaming. When they reset the map and started again with everyone on 0 kills, it was 26-21, but in Space Station's Gaming's favour, right? So a major error on the part of the referees, basically, and it's, you know, a mistake that just cannot be made. A mistake that maybe didn't matter massively in the grand scheme of things, right? I mean, the reset was the big thing that kind of corrupted OpTic's momentum, and in the end, Space Station went on to win this round by several points regardless, even of the 10-point swing, but it's still a big deal just in the context of trying to be a competitive esport, right? So Scump, of course, is going to give his take on this, and, you know, obviously boys with FormaL, and just talking how absolutely unacceptable it is that this actually happens.
Did you see that they fucked up the score restart on Slayer Recharge last night? I did see that. That is fucking insane. So essentially, for anyone that didn't see what happened, so there was a restart map number 4 yesterday in the first reset of Halo Worlds last night. So the game, someone lagged out, they had to restart the game, they had to remake the score. They flip-flopped the scores. It was 26-21 us. We were winning. And then they put it to 26-21 them winning. Which, again, I don't know how big of a difference that makes in the grand scheme of things. I don't think that makes that big of a difference. I think we ended up losing the round by a lot more than 5 points. But it definitely is fucked up. That's a 10-kill flip. It was an oddball. It wasn't Slayer. But it's still unacceptable. I mean, that just shouldn't be happening. It's the grand finals at the World Championship. You know, it's a small thing. It's 5 points. You know, we're up 3-0 in the series. People are gonna say, you know, bullshit, which it is. It is bullshit. But I don't know. I don't know how much of a difference it truly actually makes. I don't know how big of a difference it actually makes. Because, I mean, we did go on to lose 4. Yeah, we lost 4 straight maps after, or 3 straight maps after that. So, yeah, it's tough. It shouldn't be happening, but.
Dude, I felt so bad for Matt, man. That guy was literally putting on for the squad. I think that's Matt's best trait, dude. Even though they lost, like, I feel like everybody just looks at his talent, his aim, his mechanics, you know what I mean? Just like in-game shit, but I feel like his best trait is not even like anything game related. It's literally like his mental, like his will to win. It's actually so typical. Might sound like corny or like it's like hard to like almost describe it because you can't really, it's not like something you can measure, but just like playing against him and like even just watching him, like just like in series like that where he's just like almost willing his team, like I feel like that's always been like the one trait that I've always like admired, I guess, from him. Yeah, I don't really care about, like, obviously he had insane stats, you know what I mean? Like, and then obviously, like, it's a part of the game, but it's just more like, it's just like the moments. Like, I've never seen in my life a kill tack on LAN, and then he did it in the Champs Grand Final. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like situations like he's like almost trying to inspire his teammates. Like, yo, let's fucking go. Like, we're winning this shit. You know what I mean? Like this is like the level I'm bringing. This is what I'm on. And I, like, as a teammate, like, that shit's like contagious. Like, for example, like when Ant's going ballistic, I'm like, bro, we ain't losing, bro. This guy's fucking him. Let's lock the fuck in. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like little shit like that. Like that's like Matt's best trait. And it's kind of sad for like me, like witnessing him, because like, bro, this guy, I don't know, like, I don't know how many seconds they got, and especially in a row, and then especially second at champs in the fashion they did. Like, I know that guy does not deserve that. I'm like watching it as a fan, bro. Like, I mean, Matt was like the one guy that like inspired me to like first, you know what I mean? Like, I guess compete. So it's like moments like that. That's why like I've always fucked like with like I guess like the way he like approached the game. Like, bro, this guy just popped a kill tech in champs finals. Like, this guy's ham. What the fuck? How we losing? I swear to God, that's the first thing, bro. I saw we got a kill tech. I blinked. We are down 10 kills, bro. I'm like, how? Am I tweaking? Bro, I swear, like, they didn't even watch his pop too for like the first 3.
This situation does remind me a little bit, just because Scump was involved in that one of the SAE drama, if you guys remember it, at the start of Modern Warfare 2, when Cammy called in the SAE. I think it was Cammy on the rocker at the time, got a glitch, and then they were like, oh, well, we've got to replay it or whatever. That was the argument made by Minnesota. OpTic, of course, weren't happy about that, and like, these things happen in various esports basically all of the time, but Scump's been in those type of situations where, you know, you just get screwed over by either the game or the referees or whatever. And it's not like esports exclusive that this type of stuff happens, because like in regular sports, obviously the referees can make mistakes or be corrupt or whatever. Like, these type of things happen, and you know, arguably it can be more important there. Whereas in esports, in a theoretical world, it's like, well, the game is the game, and whatever happens in the game happens in the game. But unfortunately, the game isn't perfect, the PCs aren't perfect, and therefore lagging out of the games does happen, and therefore replays need to happen, and therefore how do you manage those situations can be a serious problem. And even just thinking back to the drama back in Black Ops 4 at CWL London, when it was Luminosity versus FaZe or whatever, right, and Slacked went for the grab slam, and he got the couple of kills, but he got the kills after the point had been captured. It should have been an offensive victory for FaZe. It was given because the game was literally glitching as a victory for LG, and well, that was history in the making right then and there. But it was also interesting what Dashy had to say in FormaL, just because we know that these guys get along very well. We know that in some respects, Dashy has been considered like the protege for FormaL, right? His next up, the next greatest AR on OpTic, and in some sense, he's kind of cemented that legacy by winning the World Championship this year. But still, in terms of a career, what FormaL's accomplished across multiple esports and titles, and, you know, the amount of events he's won, Dashy's still got a way to go before he can look to emulate FormaL's legacy, as it were. And I think Dashy is, you know, over time come to appreciate more and more what makes FormaL such an important asset to a team. And as he says, people talk about his talent, his aim, his mechanics, these other things, which is a parallel between FormaL and Dashy, for sure. Like, if you look at Dashy's raw aim and everything, people talk about the best gunny ever in COD, and lots of people will say FormaL, and I think that's probably the right answer. Certainly very close. You can arguably say Scump as well, and there's others in recent times you could also put in the conversation, but I'd probably say FormaL is definitely in that convo, but certainly Dashy is as well, right? Best gunny ever in COD. FormaL and Dashy probably aren't too dissimilar. In fact, they're probably very similar in terms of their overall ability and skill ceiling and these type of things. But as Dashy admits, FormaL has that next level in terms of his mentality, right? Like, he can will his team over the line. And obviously, it hasn't happened, unfortunately, from TJHaLy this season, but I don't think that takes anything away from FormaL, what he's actually done, right? Just because FormaL's team didn't win any of those finals, I don't necessarily think it means that FormaL isn't like a winner, because you can see in many of those finals, FormaL was doing his absolute all and, you know, being the best player in the server, and it still wasn't quite enough for the team. And I think Dashy's recognizing that these are traits that he would be wise to emulate. I mean, obviously, wise to emulate is not exactly easy to, like, emulate a trait like that from a guy like FormaL, but it is worth thinking about regardless, that Dashy might think, all right, for the new season, because let's say the World Championship Grand Final this year, Dashy, I wouldn't say he got carried, because he was obviously an important factor to their win, but it's not like he had his best series. Whereas in the future, Dashy will probably feel like, okay, if I want to be considered on the level of FormaL, then I've got to be the one leading the charge. And he's definitely got the talent to do that, but it's whether he can execute on those questions, which has always been a talking point in COD over the last several years. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below as ever. Just one final interesting thing. Designers out there, Kremp wants to have a custom livery. So in November, he's racing at the Circuit of the Americas. That's, by the way, where Formula 1 is going in just a couple of weeks' time on the 22nd or something, or 20th, I think, maybe of October. And if you're a designer, feel free to design a custom livery. He's racing the 6 Hours of COTA in November for his number 86 Porter car. So intrigued to your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.